The object show community is bigger than it has ever been. Multiple people are beginning to discover this community every day, and this has led to the community being full of millions of people passionate about this subgenre. And some of these people go on to gain major popularity in this community as well, whether that's through an object show they made blowing up, or maybe through some fan animations, video documentaries, or other types of videos. However, this big and booming community wasn't always like this. This community has existed for 15 years, and there have been multiple members that have gained prominent status over the years. While there are some more prominent creators who are still going strong today, there are also many examples of object show creators who have simply fallen off. These people were once the talk of the town in their prime, who have given the community some cult classic object shows that people still reminisce about today, but now they're either still in this community, just not as big as before, have left the community and no longer have anything to do with it, or are either just left the internet as a whole. Today, I will be talking about 4 object show legends that were once a big deal in the OSC and where they are today. So get comfortable as I, Mizumi Heiwa, bring to you all 4 object show legends and where they went.
Hello guys, it's Blue Planet here, obviously.
Mande Catalan was just an 11-year-old boy from Romania who was a commoner on the internet in 2012. He had a passion for gaming, as we can see in his earliest YouTube videos, which consisted of some parody animations on some popular video games at the time and also a short-lived series on Sonic. And while his YouTube channel is pretty old, made in 2010, it's actually not his oldest internet footprint. Created in 2009, Mande would post a lot, and I mean a lot, of animations and games on a Scratch account named DC1, which, not gonna lie, kinda slap. This guy had a good childhood. But then in August of 2012, Mande would upload a project titled Challenge to Win Sign Up. In this project, he explained that he was making a show like Battle for Dream Island or Total Drama and asked viewers to create characters to put in this competition. Only 2 people actually did make characters as Mande. Okay, I should probably call it by his username now. 100DCX was still an obscure guy without much popularity. One of the 2 who did sign up was 100DCX's brother, Daniel X. Snabber, who I talked about in my last video. Since almost no one gave characters, 100DCX decided to make the rest by himself, and on September 20th, 2012, Challenge to Win would get his first episode released on YouTube and Scratch simultaneously.
Hi, I'm the Challenge to Win host.
The show was made completely on Scratch, and you can see that it was made by an 11-year-old in 2012. Throughout the first episode, we can hear several audio glitches.
Yay! What I can do!
And the writing is just so abysmal. Heck, 100DCX even admitted later on that the first few episodes weren't even scripted to begin with.
Also, episodes 1 to 5 weren't even scripted. I'd think of a scene, voice acted, and then animate it.
People still laugh at the show's absurdly awful quality in its initial episodes years later.
The challenge is to finish the cross line.
But then again, this was 2012, it's not like everyone else in the OSC was making cinema at this time. Following the 5th episode, the show did scratch entirely and switched to Flash, which is stuck with since. Over time, as more episodes of Challenge to Win released and the quality started to improve, 100DCX would start to become more and more popular in the object show space. Other than Challenge to Win, he would start to make several animations and even games on Challenge to Win. And on April 26, 2017, CTW would finish its first season with overall great reception. Roughly a year later, the second season of the show began. Things were going really well for 100DCX, it seemed, but however, the new season didn't last longer than an episode. In another video he made later, 100DCX would state that the reason he was ending the show abruptly was because of issues regarding crew and activity. He also stated that he could make a new show completely in its place, but it was still being decided. And yeah, no more Challenge to Win episodes after that, unfortunately. 100DCX would go on to post a few more videos on his channel, mainly Christmas animations, before releasing his last video in December 2020. And after that, nothing. The channel went dead silent. No more videos, no community posts, no updates on where he went, nothing. He has never been seen active on his social media since. In the comments of his final upload on the channel, many people were wondering where he went. Some people even left goodbye messages to him personally, and on one specific comment, 100DCX did reply. He confirmed that CTW is no longer happening, but he still wanted to make other content in the future. And believe it or not, there have been 2 instances where he has been seen contributing in the OSC since then. The first instance was when he was voice acting for a now cancelled object show named Chaotic Ambition, but unfortunately the 4th episode, in which he was voice acting, never released. There was only a video that came out of that episode showing what was made of it before cancellation, but that video since got deleted and is now lost media. However, the second instance where he was seen is much more well known, as he gave a cameo in Greeny's Grand Game episode 2, and as what we can see in the comments of his last video, 100DCX seems to be busy with college right now, which could explain why he shows up so rarely these days. So yeah, 100DCX had a great run in this community. I mean, he made such an iconic object show with animations and visuals that still hold up even today. I wish him great luck with college and life in general, and with that, I think it's time to move on to our next candidate.
Merry Christmas! I hope you're all having fun with your gifts.
The next person we will discuss is a person who began his legacy in 2013, Asaf aka Asaf the King. Asaf created his YouTube channel on February 14th, 2012, and it is on this channel where he would go on to create his object show that will become one of the most talked about object shows of its time, Object Illusion.
This was a good idea.
The first episode of Object Illusion was uploaded on September 19th, 2013. However, there doesn't seem to be any other videos on his channel that came before this episode. Whether Object Illusion's first episode was his first ever video, or if there were additional videos prior to it and have since been taken down, is currently up for speculation. Back to Object Illusion, just like Challenge to Win, the first episode of the show had laughable quality to say the least, with some parts of it being memes today.
I'm bored!
However, as more episodes came out of the show, even though the episodes were coming out very quickly, the show would improve in quality tremendously, and in less than a year the show went from looking like this to looking like this. This show had 7 episodes published in a span of 10 months. That's almost impossible for an object show creator in current times. Though it is a different matter that the 8th episode alone took another 10 months to make by itself, not even the whole episode, just the first part of it. But on the bright side, this time was also the peak of Object Illusion's popularity. Many people were making their predictions, fan animations, and a couple more fan stuff of this show around this time. That on September 19th, 2017, exactly 4 years after the show got its pilot, we would get the 10th episode of the show, after which episode 11 would begin production. On February 11th, 2018, we received a sneak peek, or teaser as to what it was titled, of the upcoming episode. Later in Christmas of that year, we got another teaser of the episode. In August of 2019, we got yet another teaser. Hype was still there for the show. It had been like 23 months since the previous episode had aired, the longest wait we've ever had for the show. But after this third teaser, nothing. Asaf would go silent on Object Illusion for a while after that teaser. He posted other videos during this time that weren't OSC related, although all since taken down from the channel. So what happened? Where's episode 11? Is Object Illusion cancelled? Well, we were about to get our answers soon. On March 18th, 2021, Asaf would finally break his silence and post a video explaining what happened to Object Illusion. In this explanation video, he would explain that he lost passion for OI and animation as a whole, and how he would move on to producing music instead. However, in this video, he stated that despite the loss of interest, OI was not cancelled and he was going to continue and finish what he started with a new crew, and also announce potential auditions.
More time, because the animators I did have, I don't have anymore. There's a voice actor I don't even have anymore because he went to the military. So I might have to hold some auditions soon for sure. And for all the other voice actors.
But this newfound motivation didn't last very long. In the next video he would post a year later, he stated that he was going to cancel the current Object Illusion due to difficulties in getting back the original crew, and was starting fresh with a new crew and set of characters.
So Object Illusion, I'm gonna restart it. Now that I'm older, I have more script writing knowledge, editing knowledge, animation. Never mind.
Many people supported his decision, as you can see in the comments of the second video. The last time he talked about Object Illusion was in August of 2022. In the video, he stated that the reboot of Object Illusion was going to have a completely new set of characters and was hosting a poll on which characters from the original OI the viewers wanted back. The 3 most voted characters will return in the new version. Sucks that we would never know who would have returned because, as I said, this was the last time Asaf would post anything OI related, and the channel the show is posted at has been left dead since. Asaf has since switched to music solely and has made a new channel where he posts his original compositions to this day, with not a hint of his animation girl past. Despite Asaf's exit from the OSC, Object Illusion still has a significant following these many years later, and for good reason. This show had some great production for its time and is still praised for its humor today. Like, I generally got kinda obsessed with the show while researching it for this video, watching its episodes and other fan videos to the point where I forgot I had a video to write. This show was that entertaining for me. All in all, even though the creator has moved on, its fans still have a soft spot for OI in their hearts and will live on as a well-beloved show in the Object Show community.
I regret to inform you all, but it's cancelled. Again. Who saw that one coming, am I right?
For this next candidate, we have to head over to Ireland to talk about Kingsley Isezobor, also known by his more well-known name, Ultratunes. Ultratunes created his YouTube profile on July 28, 2012. However, the thing is that this is actually not his first time making a YouTube account. Before this channel, Kingsley had another YouTube channel named Kingsley2768, and he had already created 2 object shows on that channel. The first show was one titled Objectify, which was released on July 22nd, 2012. That show only got 1 episode, after which it got cancelled, and in its place we got another object show that would go on to become a cult classic. A show Ultratunes called the brother show to Object Universe, Object Mayhem.
Hello everyone, I'm Calculator and I'm the host of Object Mayhem.
Object Mayhem was launched on August 1st, 2012 and received mixed responses at the time of its release. Personally, I think the show was alright, nothing spectacular, but the quality was decent for the time. It was after this show came out that the Kingsley2768 channel will get deleted for a reason that is still unknown, which leads us back to the creation of the Ultratunes channel in July 2012, which is still in use today. It's on this channel where Kingsley would continue to post more Object Mayhem videos, and the show began to gain popularity quickly, as the animation began to get better and the episodes were coming out very frequently. And before we knew it, Object Mayhem was one of the most popular object shows of its time. Things were sailing smoothly, Kingsley's show was coming closer and closer to the finale, and it seems like nothing could go wrong now. Right? The year was 2017. Object Mayhem had reached its 16th episode and there were only 6 contestants left. So naturally people began waiting for the next episode, but then out of nowhere the show was cancelled. Like, it happened so suddenly. The show was this close to the end, why not just finish it at this point? But anyway, it's not too bad as the second season of OM got announced in 2019. And later that same year on August 9th, the first episode of said second season got its first episode. This was good, the show was getting a new start and a new era of the community. However, from here, it gets bizarre. You see, Object Mayhem Season 2 was doing well. The season received 3 episodes and things looked like it was smooth sailing again. Except it didn't go this way. 3 months after Season 2 Episode 3, Ultratunes said that Object Mayhem was cancelled. Again.
I regret to inform you all, but Object Mayhem is cancelled. Again. Okay, fine. Object Mayhem isn't cancelled.
But turns out this time it wasn't actually cancelled, but rather the show was getting a super finale? But wait, the season has had 3 episodes, and only 1 contestant has been eliminated so far. And even weirder is that this finale didn't even happen in the first place, and instead Ultratunes made another season of Object Mayhem named Object Mayhem Global, and in September 2021 that show premiered its pilot episode, the only episode out of that as of now. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the show either now. Anyways, the most recent video on Ultratunes' channel is the re-upload of Objectify's only episode. Remember that? Which was uploaded on November 28, 2022. However, there were also a few shorts/clips of Object Mayhem Global available on the channel as well, with the last one of those uploaded in August of 2023. So yeah, Object Mayhem has had a weird but interesting run throughout its timeline. People still look back on this show today and get reminded of a simpler time in the OSC, when object shows didn't used to have such serious storylines or character arcs left and right. Back then, people only made object shows for fun without much planning. After his final upload, UltraToon still stayed active on his community tab where he made some posts to show that he was still around, and his last post was actually very recent, just 2 weeks ago as to me writing this, with him simply saying,
"Miss you guys."
Well, we miss him too, and I wish him luck with whatever he is doing. And so now we can move on to our final candidate of the video. Hey guys, this is Future Mizumi Heiwa here. I just wanted to say that UltraTunes has since made a new community post celebrating a subscriber milestone. I finished writing this script before he posted that, so which is why it's not mentioned here. I just didn't want to give outdated information, which is why I'm adding this in post. So anyway, we can finally continue. June 1st, 2013. This was the day Atesh Zakaria would create his YouTube channel named StelLizard, well technically named ToonMaster99 at the time, and would post his first video on this channel 2 months later. His next video was actually an animation titled Just a Bit Havoc. It was a simple animation following the Just a Bit trend which was popular at the time, which also is the oldest showcase of some characters you might be familiar with. That's right, these characters are contestants of Object Havoc, Stel's object show that would release on May 21st, 2014. Up to this point, we got multiple animations from this show that Stel made for fun and even a preview for this episode. But now the actual episode was here. The show was met with a great response from viewers for having really good production quality for its time and also being kinda entertaining in general. However, this quality would only reach new heights with the second episode that came a year later. This episode is 10 years old and it's still in my opinion better than a lot of object show episodes that come out today. People praise this episode for its writing, animation, visuals, just everything about this screams high quality, even a decade later. You can see how this took a year to make. Anyways, 5 months later we got a preview of the third episode and clearly expectations were high from the previous one. Then in April 2016 we got the next preview as part of a big channel update Stel made, which was the last we saw of Object Havoc as only 3 months later in July, Stel announced that Object Havoc was getting cancelled.
Hey guys, I have some bad news. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I don't want to continue making Object Havoc anymore.
Stel stated multiple reasons as to why the show was reaching such an abrupt end, including lack of motivation, his interest to do other more original things, and wanting to focus on his personal future. People supported his decision, and he also stated that in a future video, he will talk about what Object Havoc could have been, the story, the character development, all that.
I will soon be making a video on what was going to happen in Object Havoc, explaining every major detail, event, and the entire storyline in general. This video will
However, this video he talked about never arrived. After this video of him cancelling OH, he completely stopped making Object Show content and started making his own animated content with his own characters. But this didn't mean that he completely stopped working on Object Shows. He still voice acted for some Object Shows after Object Havoc's discontinuation and also participated in a joke camp by Zany Leaves, Trop. He even worked as an animator for BFB till 2021, but after BFB ended, his contributions to the OSC ended with it. After BFB, he left Object Shows fully and today posts other animations on his channel. And it seems that he has moved on from this community entirely. And I feel like it's natural. Look, interest comes and goes. When you generated interest in something, say a hobby, or for a more relevant example, a certain fandom, there's a possibility the interest may not last long term. You may want to quit after a while, and that includes the Object Show fandom. Sure, you enjoy watching Object Shows now and maybe even have your own, but there will come a day where you will stop. You and I will move on from Object Shows one day, whether that be as close as next month or as far as years from now, but the point is that we won't be doing this forever. It's a saddening thought, but hey, that's not the case right now. We're still here, watching Object Shows, laughing at the newest BFDIA episode, and still invested in the latest OSC drama. We are passionate for Object Shows right now, so we might as well make the most of it while we're still here.